Hi students, welcome to yet another session of my class. We are discussing novella Chronicle of a Death Foretold by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Let us continue the summary of our novella. Chapter Yes. In the first chapter itself, we readers get the notion that Santiago Nazar is killed by the hands of Vigario brothers. And I already told you it is not in a chronological order. And in the second and third chapter, we get the idea about Angela's wedding, Angela's husband. Then after that, uh, this Vigario brothers' decision to kill this man, etc. And in chapter 4, and chapter 4 is like a continuation of the chapter 1. That is, chapter 1 itself, we get the idea that's at the end of the chapter 1, we see that is Santiago Nazar is killed. And in chapter 4, yes, let us discuss. Following Santiago Nazar's death, an autopsy is performed and determines that the cause of death was a massive hemorrhage brought on by any one of 7 major wounds. Yes. So there is a doctor here, Dr. Dionisio Iguaran, and he is absent. So the mayor orders Father Carmen Amador to perform the autopsy on Santiago Nazar. Autopsy means postmortem. So see, the doctor is absent here. So the mayor orders Father Carmen Amador to perform this autopsy or postmortem on Santiago Nazar. And they perform it at the public school with the help of a druggist and a first-year medical student. And the report concludes that the death has been brought on by a massive hemorrhage caused by any one of the 7 fatal wounds. That is the report of the postmortem. After the poorly executed autopsy, they quickly bury the body. See in what way they did this postmortem or that autopsy, how badly, because uh, because the doctor is absent, the mayor orders Father Carmen along with one first-year medical student and another druggist to do this or to perform the postmortem on Santiago Nazar, and they perform it at a public school. So see in what way they did that autopsy. Then the narrator goes to see Maria Alejandra Cervantes after the autopsy, but she won't sleep with him because she says she smells like Santiago. And the Vigario brothers also complain that they can't get a smell of their hands or of their bodies, nor can they sleep. Yes, this narrator, uh, not narrator, the narrator goes to see Maria Alejandra Cervantes after the autopsy, but she won't sleep because she says he smells like, this narrator smells like Santiago, so she won't sleep with the narrator. And the Vigaria brothers also complain the same thing. That is, they can't get his smell of their bodies or nor can they sleep. And after that, these Vigario brothers, they are placed in the local prison, and Pablo Vigario gets a serious case of the crime. The whole Vigario family, after that, the whole Vigario family decided to leave the town, and they leaves town. Angela Vigario's face is wrapped, and she was dressed in bright red dress. And after that, this Poncio Vigario, that is her father, died shortly thereafter. And the twins were transferred to a prison in Riohacha, a day's trip from Manor, the town that the Vigario family moved to. This Vigario family, they left that town and they shifted to another place named Manor. And this Vigario brothers, they were transferred to a prison in Rioja, that is near a day's trip from Manor. So that is a one mark question here. That is, this Angela's family that is shifted from this hometown to where, that is Manor. And this Vigario brothers, the twins are transferred to a prison in Rioja. And Prudencia Courts moves to Manor 3 years later to marry Pablo Vigario after he gets out of jail. Then Pablo learns to work with precious metals like his father and becomes a goldsmith. And Pedro Vigario goes back into the armed forces and is never heard from again. It is after 3 years, these Vigario brothers, yes, uh, um, they gets out of uh, they get out of jail. That is, they get got freedom, and this Pablo Vigario, he learns to work with the precious metals and becomes a goldsmith. And Pedro Vigario goes back into the armed forces. That is after the imprisonment, after 3 years. The mayor goes to check on Beato San Roman. After that, yes, for many, the only real victim in this tragedy is at present this is Beato San Roman. That is the husband of Angela. After some time, this mayor goes to check on Beato San Roman a week after the murder and finds him lying in his bed, almost dead with alcohol poisoning. Dr. Iguaran treats him, and as soon as he recovers, he throws the mayor and doctor out of his house. The mayor informed General Petronius and Roman, that is his father, about his situation, and his father sends his wife and daughters to get Beato back. And they arrive in morning with their hair loose and veil as they walk barefoot to the house. And they carry, that is his mother and his sisters, they carry Beato out on a cot, put him on the boat, and take him away. And at this time, we can see that Angela Vigario ends up in a town called Gaurija. Yes, they moved to, they shifted to one place named Manor. And after that, this Angela Vigario ends up in a town called Gaurija, making her living as an embroiderer. And she got one profession, that is, she is making her life as an uh, embroiderer, like a tailor. When the narrator, that is another one mark question, that is Angela Vigario, after so many years, she reached one town called Gaurija and making her living as an embroiderer. When the narrator finally goes to see her, he finds her with the glasses and with yellowish grey hair. After some time, our narrator goes to see Angela. He finds her with the glasses and with yellowish grey hair. He says she is so mature and witty. After so many years, that is, the appearance of the Angela is totally changed. Now she wears glasses and with yellowish grey hair. And he says she is so mature and witty that it is hard to believe she is the same person. And the narrator asks once again to Angela if it was really Santiago Nasser who took her virginity. Once again, the narrator asks her if it was really Santiago Nasser who took her virginity. And she calmly says it was. Even though, as the narrator says, Angela and Santiago were never seen together. Once again, this narrator asks Angela about that person, if it is true, and once again she insists that yes, it was Santiago Nazar. And the narrator says that the true misfortune for Angela is that as soon as Beato brings her home, he is in her life forever. And she begins to think about him constantly. Yes, after so many years, the real misfortune for Angela is, according to our narrator, the true misfortune for Angela is that um Beato brings her back to her home and he is in her life for her forever. She begins to think about him constantly. That is, at present, this Angela thinks about him. She begins to think about this Beato constantly, and she says that when her mother beat her that day, that is her wedding night, she was not crying because of anything that had happened. She was crying because of him. At present time, she is thinking that, yes, at that time, when her mother beat her, she was not crying because of anything that had happened. She was crying because of the loss of her husband, Beato San Roman. That means the true misfortune for Angela is that the loss of her husband, Beato San Roman. That is his decision to bring her back to her home. And at present, she begins to think about him constantly. And Angela begins to, and after so many years, yes, this angel at present, that is now she is in Gaurija as an embroiderer, and she begins to think about this Beados and Roman. And Angela begins to write him letters. She writes a weekly letter to him for 17 years. Yes, for the last 17 years, she constantly writes a letter to him. She writes a weekly letter for him for 17 years. Then, halfway through a day in August, he comes into her workplace. Yes, after so many, that is, after this 17 years, this Beato San Roman, that is in 1 August, in a day, he comes into her workplace and he has gained weight and is balding. His appearance also changed a lot. He has gained weight and is balding. That is because of hair loss. He takes a step forward and lays his saddlebags on the sewing machine, saying, "Well, here I am." That means he takes a step forward. He is carrying 2 suitcases with him. And he is saying that, "Well, here I am." And he is carrying 1 suitcase filled with the clothing and another suitcase filled with the letters she has sent him, arranged by date and tied with the colored ribbons. That those letters that she had sent to him for the last 17 years. He arranged by date and tied with the colored ribbons those letters. But the one important thing is they are all unopened. That means he did not read any of the letters. That is the summary of the chapter 4. I think all of you understand this chapter 4. It is like the continuation of the chapter 1. And in this section, that is in chapter 4, we get the idea regarding Santiago's postmortem, how this autopsy is performed, and after that, what happened to this Angela's Vigario's family. They decided to move to a new place, and then what happened to Vigario brothers? They were imprisoned, and after 3 years, yes, they came out of jail, and then their job, one, that is Pedro enlisted in the armed force, and Pablo then marries and became a goldsmith. Then what happened to Beato San Roman? Then after that, uh, we readers get the idea about Angela Vigario. That is her appearance. Her appearance is totally changed, and for the last 70 years, at present, she is constantly thinking about her lost husband, Beato San Roman, and moreover, now she is making her living as an embroiderer, and she constantly writes to him for the last 17 years, and at last, this Beato San Roman came to her and came to her with 2 suitcases. One suitcase filled with his clothes, and the other filled with uh, the letters that she had sent to him for the last 17 years. And the important thing is, they are all unopened. Chapter 5. According to the narrator, Santiago Nazar dies without understanding his death. Yes. We also, that is, we readers, from the first chapter up to the fifth chapter, we do not get any clear-cut idea regarding his death. It is only after parting from Margot and Cristo Bedoya, when Santiago enters the home of his fiancée Flora Miguel, that he is finally told that the Vigario brothers are waiting for him to kill him. Here, uh, that is in the first chapter, we see that is in the that wedding night, that is the Angela Vigario's wedding night. This up to 2 o'clock, the Santiago Nazar was spending his time with Maria, and after that he left Maria's home and went to this Flora Miguel. Flora Miguel is his fiancée. So it is only after parting from Margot and Cristo Bedoya. Margot is narrator's sister. When Santiago enters the home of his fiancée, Flora Miguel, that he is finally told that the Vigario brothers are waiting for him to kill him. But almost all characters get the idea that Santiago Nazar is going to kill by Vigario brothers. And this Flora Miguel, she also know that is this Vigario brothers are planning to kill him. So when this Santiago Nazar enters her home, that is Flora Miguel's home, that he is finally told that is this Flora Miguel tells him that this Vigario brothers are waiting for you to kill you. And Flora Miguel has heard the news and fearing that is, Flora Miguel already heard the news about Angela Vigario, his disgrace, and the Santiago Nazar is responsible for that. She already heard the news and fearing that Santiago will be, and she is fearing that Santiago will be forced to marry Angela Vigario to give her back her honor. Returns to so she returns to him his letters. That means this Flora Miguel is the fiancée of Santiago Nazar. So this Santiago Nazar uh, gave her so many letters and all. That is like love letters, etc. So this Flora Miguel has heard the news regarding Angela Vigario's disgrace, and she is fearing that the Santiago will be forced to marry Angela Vigario to give her back her honor. So she returned all the letters to him and crying. And she said that I hope they kill you. Because she also heard the news. And she already told him that the Vigario brothers are waiting outside for you. When Santiago leaves his fiancée's house, confused and disoriented, he finds himself amid crowds of people stationed on the square as they do on parade days. He finds there's so many people, they were gathered here in the square, in the town, as they normally do on parade days. He begins to walk towards his house and is spotted by the twins. Suddenly, this Vigario brothers, they are waiting in the milk shop and they spotted him. Clotilde Armenta, that is the proprietress of that milk store, yes, yells to Santiago to run. Yes, this Clotilda, yes, she yells too. That is, tells him Santiago loudly to run, to escape. But Santiago's mother, believing that her son is already up in his room. Santiago's mother, Placida, she believes that her son is already in his home, so she locks the front door seconds before he would have reached safety. Instead, the twins catch up to him and carve him with their knives. At that point, in front of his home, these twins catch up to him and stab him with their knives. The watching crowd shouts, frightened by its own crime. When the twins are done, Santiago is left, holding his hanging intestines in his hands and he walks more than 100 yards to the back door of his house and falls on his face in the kitchen. It is the end of the Santiago Nazar. After that, Santiago Nazar is left holding his hanging intestine in his hands because these Vigaria brothers they stabbed on his stomach, and he's left holding his hanging intestines in his hands, and he walks more than 100 yards to the back door of his house because the front door is closed by his mother, because he believes that he is already inside his home. So this Santiago walks more than 100 yards to the back door of his house and falls on his face in the kitchen, and he suddenly died. So almost all that the people, the crowds of people, the people who gathered in the square, almost all people saw this crime, and uh, these Vigario brothers, they accepted their crime. This is the summary of the chapter 5. So I think all of you understand these two chapters. This chapter, that is the chapter 5, demonstrates the complicity of the town in the murder of Santiago, and also shows how they saw themselves as spectators rather than actors. That is the another point in the chapter 5. This almost all characters heard about this news. That is, this Vigario brothers is going to kill this man. And this chapter shows the complicity of the town in the murder of Santiago, and shows how they saw themselves, these all people or these characters, how they saw themselves as spectators, just spectators, like an audience, rather than spectators rather than actors. Because almost all characters, that is police, colonel, then butcher, then this Clotilde Armenda, then Flora Miguel, almost all main characters heard about this news, but they did not do anything to stop this crime. That is the thing here. I think all of you understand the summary of this novella, Chronicle of a Death Foretold. And I already told it is not in the chronological order. In the first chapter itself, then fourth chapter is like the continuation of the first chapter, and fifth also. In between two chapters, we get the idea about another factors. We got the idea about this Angela, Beados, and Roman, etc. So the narration is not in a chronological order, and also uh, we readers get a detective as well as journalistic tone in the narration of this novella. It is like a here throughout the novel, this narrator is anonymous, and also we readers did not get any definite idea regarding the death of Santiago Nazar. And Angela Vigario, she never disclosed the reality behind her disgrace, how this happened, or where it happened. She never disclosed that. That is kept secret throughout her life, and we readers did not get. And even this Santiago Nazar dies without understanding his death. And we readers or the inquiry officers or magistrate police, they did not get any evidence regarding the Angela's Vigilios. Any that disgrace regarding this Angela Vigario, is it Santiago Nazar or not? And we readers also. We readers did not get anywhere that evidence or that truth regarding the death of the Santiago Nazar. So, there is a homework for you, children. It is a homework is write a critical note on the chapter 4 and 5 of the novella Chronicle of a Death Foretold. Write your homework and send back to me. And in next class, we will discuss the theme and other relevant details of this novella. Okay, thank you. Write your homework and send back to me. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you again.